Howdy, howdy. So, for a bit of a change of a pace, I'm just going to be talking over the speed build as I do it. I feel like it's generally helpful in kind of explaining everything I'm doing and some of the approaches I take. For this build in particular, I kind of already know what things are going to look like, so I can't really explain a lot of the basic design choices, but I can explain, like, as we go along, just what's going through my mind and kind of how I feel about how I did everything. So at first I built the outline like way too close to the road. I don't know why I did that, but generally my first goal with this house was just I wanted to build a big house, just a big family house. Very, basic house, not anything modern, just a house. Traditional kind of house, I guess. And wanted to make it more above it on a hill. And so that first story is entirely reserved just for terrain, so that you look up to the house, not necessarily at it. And here I'm just making like a little, I imagine that would probably be the living room, and it'd even be 2 stories. You'd have like wooden rafters or something in there. But yeah, I ended up using this rock pattern throughout the rest of the house too, which I'm super happy with how that looks. And even I have like a different rock pattern on the bottom here, and just to kind of, I don't know, add a foundation kind of layer. Very happy with how everything turned out. This driveway here, yeah, trying to figure out how I'm going to do it, because this game does not necessarily help you a whole lot on terrain or just these interesting shapes that aren't just squares and straight slopes. So you kind of have to really think outside the box whenever you're making them. And I'm happy with how the shape of it is, the general shape of it is. Now the smaller details, not so much, just because you can't do a whole lot in this game to compensate for that without spending an absurd amount of time just trying to fine tune everything. This is just me trying to build just a house. I'm not trying to go crazy on any details or anything. The only thing I'd probably change about that driveway is I wish I'd made it like a full semicircle, but it's fine as it is. Right here I'm doing this cool little thing. I like when homes do this, is have like a stone wall on the stairs going up, or just like the entrance in general. And then on these poles you'd have like lanterns. I always like that. I feel like it works well for just kind of decorating an interior and giving you exterior lights. I like exterior lights. And then I'm using them over again. I really like how they let you copy those. And then my plan for the entranceway, so I was gonna have a pediment at the top, and then pillars going up, and then a wood frame across like that roof there. But I couldn't really figure it out, and yeah, the third story is just a little too tall, I feel like. I wasn't gonna make the house that big. I wanted it to be big, but it's just, I don't know, that was probably too much. So I ended up deleting it. But I'm just trying to figure out how to get that shape of what I want. And I really like the compromise that I ended up taking. So yeah, we're just coloring everything in. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the white color I chose there for the wall. I think that works well for where it is. I ended up using it a little bit later in a different part, and I don't know if I'm happy with it or not. But yeah, I'm using this to kind of break off the grid here and to try to do something that, you look at for a second and you're like, what is that? Oh, hang on. And putting on a roof there. It's pretty much a decent shape. I don't know. I'd maybe adjust it a little bit if I were to come back to it, or if I wish they would have tools where you can like fine tune a roof as after it's been put down. Like maybe you can, but I don't think there is. And here I'm trying to figure out how to put something in the center of that roof. And yeah, another thing I wish they had was something that you could put things in the center of the roof, like right there. So I ended up using trim, which works really well, but I don't know, I kind of wish there was more options available. There's a plant you can use as well that I've used in the past, and it works pretty well if you color it right. So yeah, we got that going. I'm trying to make I have this issue where I make a lot of white houses, and white is a very easy color to match. You can pretty much use any trim color with it, but yeah, I'm just a little tired of doing the same thing, and I want to try to keep, you know, experimenting and, you know, learning, rather than doing the same thing over and over again. So, and I think that's just more interesting to watch, is kind of that discovery process rather than me just going through the motions. And so yeah, go back to what I had, and I'm gonna end up changing those blue colors. I don't know, I'm not a fan of the blue colors, but I ended up changing anyway. And so yeah, we're just making some different shapes here. I don't know what you'd use that jut out for. You'd probably have like a study or something on that side. How I imagine is like the living room, and then the dining room in the back, between the two, and between the living room and the kitchen. You'd have the kitchen on the right side, and then that would lead into, I didn't put a garage on here. You'd probably put the garage on the right side, and use up that space. It's kind of set up for that anyway, but I didn't put a garage in this build. And right now you can see me I'm trying to match the slope of the first roof, but in the process I make this giant monstrosity of a roof, which does not work at all. I like these little details though. I like these little things. They're always nice. But you can see, yeah, it's like, well, that's gigantic, and me trying to fill it in somehow. And like, yeah, no. And so, yeah, I ended up making this part a little bit smaller, which, yeah, it probably needed to be. I feel like that worked out really well for how it turns out. Very happy with how that looks. I'm a really big fan of just that roof design in general. I feel like, you know, I think I used it like twice on this build, maybe 3 or 4 times even. But yeah, you can use that anywhere, and then it looks great. I wish I'd maybe done more with the trim. I feel like something like I was onto something there, I feel like. But yeah, I didn't do anything with it, so it's just kind of, I don't know, maybe I was kind of just, you know, I need to get something down and need just to make a build. I'm not really worrying about the fine details. I feel like a lot of people will kind of worry about that a little bit too much. I've got slopes over there below the roof to make the roof look like it's actually a little bit lower, and the house is like leveled. Yeah. And here's me trying to make a roof. I'm very grateful for this game, but at the same time, there's some simple things that should be simple in this game that are not, and you end up with stuff like this where you have a line through the roof. And I'm sure you could get something more than serviceable if you were to spend the time, but I just I don't know. I think it should be way more simple than it is, but that's the world we live in, so it's not the end of the world. Here I'm just filling in the gaps so we don't have just a pit in the yard, and also trying to kind of trim off a little bit of that driveway there so that it looks a little bit more better. I didn't really do a very good job. There we go. That's better. A little bit more jank, but you know, and I'm just kind of experimenting a little bit with yeah, colors and stuff. You can see that room right there, that right on the rightmost side. It's white. I don't know if I'm happy with that. I'm sure there's a way there's always a way you can make it work. You know, when I say something is, I don't know, I'm not happy with it, That doesn't mean it's bad. It never could be used, but I just didn't like the way I had done it there. And now we're just completing the roof. I'm very happy with how the roof turned out. Everything looks really nice. And I'm not really planning out for the back or even just like a floor plan in general. Yeah, that's just kind of a home. I'm not too worried about how everything kind of comes together on the inside, because you have so much room in this house that you don't really have to worry about it. Even in general, I feel like you don't have to worry about floor plans. The biggest thing you have to worry about, I feel like, is just the roof. If the roof shape is wrong, it echoes throughout the rest, and then you really mess up everything else. And yeah, you can also notice that on the color of the windows, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of muddies out whenever you look into the home, because I use black frames. But I think if I were to put an interior in there, that would fix itself. So, and yeah, so there's some trees and just some some quick terrain, just make everything a little bit different colors. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this build turned out. Just for something that's like not, insanely detailed. I mean, the sides of the house are a little bit more to be desired, but not for something that's not like supposed to be, here's the most intricately detailed thing you've ever seen. I'm super happy with how it turned out. It's a very serviceable house. So yeah, I don't know if you use it for inspiration or just something to see, but I hope it helps you in some way. So yeah, appreciate you watching, and see you later.